The market just going pretty crazy pre-market right now, doing really good, popping up. Could be a market maker manipulation, though. Be very careful. It's easy to manipulate the market in pre-market. Be going over the market in just 1 second here. Here we go. All right, cool deal. Boom. All right, good morning, everybody. The dollar is breaking down a little bit. We might be able to get a $1 of move on DXY. You can use the ETF, short the ETF UUP. First profit target from DXY would be at 107. Currently breaking down 108. So looking to go from 108 rather, to 107 for a dollar to first profit target. And then as far as cutting the risk, somewhere around 108.80, so 80 cents. 80 cents on the downside. All right, looking at the market, we are set to open up and over, gapped up and over yesterday's high, which is a lot of energy. Could be definitely a trap by market makers. It definitely works in their favor. But everything's doing that. There's the S&P 500. And the Dow also. Looking more closely at the way it's been trading. Looks like that. Pretty intense move. And now a little bit of pullback, and probably again before the open. We've got about 9 minutes before the open. And outside of that, we also had a little drop on oil. But oil continues to sort of stay in this range. It's probably going to stay in this range for a while. Gold spiking up a little bit. 10-year rates pulled back, eased off to 3.0% for the 10-year from 3.12 or 13%. So that's good. That's going to put some fuel into the growth markets a little bit. And we've got the Fed speaking in 40 minutes. So the market's probably going to hang out where it opens here, and that's a really great time for you to take some profits, potentially. There's nothing wrong with taking profits. You can always get back in, and your money will be going nowhere if you take profits. It's not going to lose money. It'll just sit there and wait for you for your next opportunity. So taking profits secures your bag. 2-year ribbon. So yeah, this market looks pretty hot this morning, but I'm skeptical, and we do believe that it's going to be light volume and sort of paralyzed until the Fed starts speaking at the top of the hour. And even then, it may take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes for it to be fully unraveled, for all the tension and suspense to be unraveled. And then we'll see where it goes from there. All right, now this morning on the Momentum Watch, we've got Drug, DRUG, looking like it's moving a lot. TIGR, TIGR. Ooh, I forgot to write that on the hot list when I published it. TIGR looks pretty good too. With 1 million shares traded so far, about $5 million. Drug has traded 12 million shares so far, and it's at $3.50, so it's traded about $35 million. Yeah, $5 million flowing in Tiger, $35 million flowing in Drug. Go to like BBBY, it's traded 1.3 million shares. It's got a little momentum this morning. And it's trading at about $10.50. So that's about 15 million. So Drug has more money flowing into it than BBBY, than Tiger combined. So a lot of eyes on Drug, a lot of volume going into, a lot of dollar volume going into Drug. You can't always trust those numbers. You know, obviously Drug has more volume millions is 12 million, and BBBY has 1 million, but BBBY has half the dollar volume as drug. So you can't always just trust the volume numbers. You have to convert it into dollar cents. We're watching also IKT. We're watching ULTA, which may become a earnings continuation, and breakaway gap runner for a swing trade. Are you going to be live when he speaks? A little bit. For a little bit. We'll see what happens. TIGR says there's a little bit of echo. Is everything all right? Happy birthday, Carl. Oh, robot. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch over to the other mic. Here we go. Is that better, guys? Happy birthday, Carl. I said that like Rain Man. Yeah. Happy birthday, Carl. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Carl. You got the Rain Man birthday wish this morning, Carl. Put that in your pocket and smoke it. Audio good here? Okay, good. All right, we've got 6 minutes until the open, 5 minutes until the open. GGI is not on my radar because it didn't really continue yesterday. Let's see. Okay, we'll keep it on my radar. Yeah, that looks pretty tasty. There it is. It's on my radar now. All right. So it'll be curious to see how this market opens. We're watching it, and drug looks like the following in pre-market. There's a very nice pre-market chart holding VWAP, bouncing strongly off VWAP. Notice the following. It had a slow pullback, and it had fast buying. So slow selling and strong demand, right? That's something you should key into. This was a great base to get into right here. And it's breaking out now. And it's breaking pre-market highs right now. Ready to pop over the key level of 350, which will bring it near yesterday's highs, I believe. We're right around there. Let's take a look at that on the daily chart. Yeah, we're already up and over nearly all previous daily high levels. If we can get over 350, maybe we have a chance of hitting $4. If we can get over $4, we have a very good chance of breaking the all-time recent high of 480, which then puts it into recent blue sky territory, and the sky is the limit at that point. So there's a lot of potential domino effect opportunity here to the upside right now on drug, DRUG. And it just hit 360 to the upside. Really nice push up just now. 3.5 minutes before the open. Drug, DRUG. Fellow Virgo. Oh, is it Virgo already? Fuck. My birthday's coming up then. I'm a Virgo too. Wouldn't you know it? I mean, come on. I mean, if you knew me really well, you'd know I was a Virgo. You'd know I was a Virgo. I think about too much. I used to be a de facto Virgo, but I wrung out some of those little parts of the system there. Yeah, Carl's like, I knew it. I knew he was a Virgo. They always say that, right? I knew you were a Pisces. It's such bullshit. I knew it. He's a Capricorn. Now it all makes sense. Marcus, happy birthday. Jesus, we're all fucking Virgos. This is the Virgo group. Hilarious. You're about to sell your SPY calls while smoking. They were up 80% yesterday. Yeah. The market pulled back all the way to yesterday's high right now after that push up. Oh, there we go on the drug. Nice pop up. Bright Minds Biosciences drug popping up to 372.
Somebody said, I love Virgos. Well, right on. We're the best. Thoughts on Magel? I have it on watch right now. It popped from 7.5 to 9.4 in pre-market. So it's definitely got some energy sizzling there. But drug, really, really moving. We've got 13 million shares traded so far at almost $4. So that's almost $50 million traded on drug already. The money flow is really flowing into drug. DRUG. Astrology isn't real. Well, I don't know. Sometimes it kind of makes sense though. Like when my Mercury return happens, I just get so stressed. What is the orbit of Jupiter? Is it like 40 years? I think the Jupiter return must be like 40 years, or it must be really a lot, like 50 to 80 years or something. Jupiter has just a massive orbit. It's way out there. The news is the Fed's preferred inflation measure shows price pressures eased in July. Jesus Christ, I don't know why that's so hard for me to parse right now. I must need more coffee. Okay. The Fed's preferred inflation measure, got it. Okay. So the metric that they prefer shows that price pressures eased in July. That's not good. Well, it depends on what you mean by price pressures. All right, drug is taken off at the open, 380. 380 on drug. Some profit taking on drug starting to happen. It's Pluto return. Yeah, drug at the open. Drug is the best opportunity at the moment. FIGS is selling off to 1186, and BBBY really selling off. TIGR failed out already. BXRX kind of holding at that little base that it's at. What is this? I didn't know I had this extra put in there. All right, drug is holding the 360 level at the open, but it looks like it's forming a head and shoulders pattern when combined with the pre-market shape. So that might be all it's got today. Gotcha, Dondro. Yeah. GGII hitting 0.007, so 7/10ths of a cent. It opened at 6.4 cents, tenths of a percent. 21 million shares, not a lot of money going into that. I wouldn't trust that. All right, BBBY with a very strong buying right now. Here goes drug as well. Drug with really strong move. Just broke the high of the day again, hit 382, and there it goes, 384. That's triggering breakout traders are throwing money on it. Boom, we hit 399 on drug. That level right there, 399, is a key psychological level that you need to take some partial profits at. But we still could, looking like with this amount of demand, could easily push over 4. And there it is, the push over $4. We just hit 406, and we just hit 410, 411. Drug now up 42% since yesterday. Now the next stop on drug could be 480, and then it's blue sky. So this could be a very hot day on drug. I am still on MNMD. Yes, I forget the name of it. But yeah, I do still have some allocation of it. That I do. All right, drug still hanging out around $4. GGII now hitting almost 8/10ths of a percent. So it's up about 25% since the open. GGII. Not a ton of money going into it. The money seems to be going into drug. Focus your efforts on drug. W day mega dip buy reversal. I don't know. Let me see. Is it around a resistance level? Support? Oh, he's not listening. Chris isn't in here. Nah. Meta, what's going on? Meta's moving. Okay. Meta moved off the open about 169, hitting about 170. Okay. Oh, sell H with quite the sell off. Might be some profit taking going on there, and time to get rid of your sell H position. Sell H projected. There's definitely some profit taking going on sell H, and I'm going to take some of my position off here. On our sell H swing trade. And I did not get filled. So now I'm chasing. Still no fill. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. Oh, I see why, because sell H is still dropping. Drug. What's going on drug? Let's take a look. Drug has pulled off of its highs. But look at that. It's a soft pullback. Strong demand, soft selling. Strong demand, soft selling. This is a good sign. It's a very good sign. Volume concurring. So, buy the dip. Buy the dip. This puppy's going to go to 450 probably next. GGII now almost to 1 cent. That's a huge gain. Something like 40%. Let me see. 0.01 divided by 0.006. Where's my calculator? Somewhere on one of these screens. Oh, there it is. 67% up off of the open. Incredible follow through on GGII. Drug is starting to pop up again. Here it goes. Here goes drug. DRUG. Next stop, the Twilight Zone. No, 450. I got some triggered alerts I got to check out. So excuse me while I kiss the sky. PRVA, no. And I'll move that alert up. Sell H, yes. Gonna have to more aggressively sell on sell H. Everybody's unloading on that. Okay. Not sure if TD will let me enter a naked short here. Let's see. It might go be-doo. We'll see. All right, you guys got to get out of that sell H if you're in that swing trade. Drug is still hanging around $4. There it is. There's the doo-doo. We're sorry. Yeah, but you can't do that. No, then I'll have to close it out as a vertical. That sucks because I really could benefit from keeping on the downside on this since the market is pulling back at the open. Oh, okay, here we go. Give that a minute. All right, SQM, got to check that out. No. If the Fed can create some positive on the market, then we're going to have some swing positions to get into. Snow going for 200. Damn, let me see. Snow. Yep. Very nice. Hey, Chris, there you are. Chris got out of his meeting. Okay, actually, yeah. ENPH Energy looking like an entry. Gonna have to alert that right now. For anybody who can get in. ENPH. About $11 a risk, $12 a risk. Kind of a crazy Friday. It would have been nice if it was triple witching. GE negative, no. Drug still hanging around 4. It's at 391. BBBY really popped. It's almost to $12 now after opening at about 10.50. BBBY, 8 million shares traded, almost $100 million traded on it so far. Yeah, I heard you about Moderna. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at that in a little bit. In general, it's probably a take profit kind of morning. Remove risk going into the Fed talk. If anybody wants DQ, that's potential also energy breakout, cheat breakout that I will alert in the Swing 100. DQ, I think we possibly are already in that on the previous cheat, maybe not.
Alert.
It's about $2 a risk. Fire in the hole. Netflix with an initially a good open, but has pulled back. CRC made a new all-time high this morning, but has pulled back. BBBY all the way back to 10.94 right now. Drugs at 385. I'm sure Snow's going to reject the way this market is right now. Got to. All right, I got to drop this vertical. All right, and then the last alert was on CRC, which is not necessarily an entry unless it can break high again. Hudson Technologies, that's a swing 100 buy. It might have already been alerted, but there's another potential entry right now. So I'll put it on the alerts for about 50 cents a risk. Now it can be better to get into positions at the end of the day. That way you are sure of the day's movement is going to stick. Yeah. All right, snow's at 199.50. Yeah, no, I'm not going to go live right now with whoever that was. Sorry. All right, about 15 minutes until the Fed. Dave and Buster's with swing 100 entry right now. Let's see. Yes. And going into earnings, it'd be nice to build up a little padding as well. This is a nice setup, a nice domino setup for a potential two-week move, or at least into earnings. Play. And if you could do $2.50 a risk, that's best. CNH sheet entry into ER padding on play. That setup looks very nice. Volume today a bit low. FTCH, I have that up somewhere, I think. Yeah, right here. Moved from a base of 11 pre-market to almost 12 now. So FTCH also moving. FIGS hit 12. It's now at 11.91. BBBY has not recovered after that pull back to 11. And Snow working its way up to 200, back to 198.50 right now. ULTA did not put in an entry candle, did it? Oh, yeah, it kind of did, actually. All right, well, that's breakaway gap. You buy those on earnings. ULTA, breakaway gap entry. There can be a surprise explosive action in the next few days on those kinds of setups.
Alert.
424, 432, $8 a risk. And the reason there's a surprise is because most people will not buy gap ups like that. And so, but there's not as much sell off as you would think. And then the next day, you can get some pretty radical movements from those kinds of ER breakaway gap. It was really set up to break key levels. The domino effect is right there. Double click any edge to reset layout grid. Well, shit, I don't want to do that. Screw you. Screw you, Benny. Anybody know what that's from? Snow at 199.28. Drug still at four. Playing around with the $4 level. Yeah, that just did the MNMD just did like a little smidge up, I guess, but not too much to speak of. Oh, I'm in snow, and I didn't even know that. I got so many accounts. I got some snow. I got snow right here. I got your snow right here. Nobody got the Total Recall? Benny? Joke? All right. That's okay. I don't blame you. All right. I'm getting out of AEHR. Simply, it's doing fine. It's a very nice soft pullback, projected to be just a nothing day, within range, but simply because I'm going to put that money somewhere else. Put it to work on something else. NVIDIA is down 5. Flowers for Algernon? Wow, what is that? Is that a name of a movie? That's such a cool name. Was that a book? Who came up? That's so literary. That's such a cool name for a book or a story. Flowers for It was the first time to see 3 boobies as a kid. Yeah, I saw that when I was a kid in the theaters. I think I was 12, maybe 15. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and see what year that was. I feel like it was in 94. Maybe it was 90. Anyway, that was such an awesome movie. Still great. And you know why it held up? Because it made fun of itself. It was schlocky. That's why Starship Troopers works as well, and RoboCop. All of Verhoeven's stuff had a sort of didn't take itself too seriously quality to it. The market dropping right now. Watch all your positions. They might start giving back gains. Market makers trying to snap you out of your positions right before the Fed gives some positive news on the market, huh? Are you right around 40 in my age? Yeah, I'm right around there. I'm 40. I'm 46. I'm about to be fucking 47 next year. I mean, it just keeps marching on. You get one life. One day I'll be in a box. You get one life. Do it right. Don't be a fucking idiot. Listen to people who are wiser than you. Listen to people who are older than you. Don't go out on your own. Stand on the shoulders of those who have come before you. So by the time you're 25, you're as wise as someone who's 60, 70, 80. That's how you live to 100 or 200. You start at 60. And you don't be a young, immature idiot. Hang out with people better than you. And you don't even really need to judge whether or not they're better or not, but for sure. But just anybody else older than you has more life experience than you. And frankly, anyone who's made it to 50 and beyond is doing a lot of things right. I always tell my kids, don't do anything that old people don't do. Don't do anything that old people don't do. So If old people don't do zip lining, don't do zip lining. if old people don't do free diving, or don't do free diving. Don't ever do anything that old people don't do. Otherwise, you ain't gonna make it. And I don't care how happy you think you're gonna be because you got to do something that you wanted to do and it killed you. When you're dead, you won't care. So that's bullshit excuse. You're full of shit. There's old traders and there's bold traders, but there are no old bold traders. I love that. Did you just make that up, Dennis? Is that a refashioning of some kind of a expression? I never heard that before. That is great. Hilarious, buddy. Love it. All right, watch your positions, guys, as that market did drop and the VIX did go up. Oh, okay, great. All right, and I'm all out of cell H, but I wonder if it came back up at all. It did come up a little bit. Yeah. That was what I was worried about. You're about to cut drug. Does it have anything left? So right now it's doing a failed retest neckline, and it hasn't broken down yet, but it's doing a failed retest neckline. No, I think it does still have something left because the sell-offs have been fairly low volume, and the demand has been high volume. So I think it actually still does have something left, and it's well above WAP. So I don't know your situation, but you might want to see what happens from here. It's actually hit a second channel and it's bouncing off support now. So if it can get up above like 395, maybe it can get back to testing that 415, maybe coil up. So, it might take until another hour to break the high of the day. Or I'm not sure, what is that right there? About 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So give it 20 minutes. Oh, you used the ribbon indicator? Okay, cool. I guess I'll have to rename it and call it that, because that's a damn good name. All right, let's check. Nope, no alerts coming from IBD. Did I put the play alert out there? Yes, I did. Okay. How's the ULTA trading? All right, it's hanging out at that entry we were talking about. How's play trading? Play is up 1%. And HDSN. And DQ. DQ, definitely continuing. DQ, one of the better Swing 100 entries this morning. And then ENPH. Nah, pulled back since entry. Geo, let's see. Yeah, Geo's in a very good spot. Geo could break today the recent high of 841. So be watching Geo. You could get an early entry to a party. Jay-Z. All right, let's take a look at Jay-Z. Wouldn't that be cool if that was Jay-Z's company? It's not coming up. Oh, Jay-Z is going to IPO today? Okay. Which is, I don't even have a name. I don't know anything about it. Do they make juice? Yeah, Geo's popping. It was at 8 and it popped to about 828. It might even be halted. No, it's not halted, but definitely some movement on Geo. You can get an early entry before all eyes get all over it and volume swarms in. Fetch, FTCH just popped to 1217. It's hitting at 1218 now. FTCH. on 14 million volume. So it's trading about $160 million today so far. So definitely a lot of flow going on there.
Alert.
All right, the Fed should start speaking in a minute here. None of the above. Which of these food brands would you consider buying from? Morningstar Farms, Light Life, Beyond Meat, or Impossible Foods? No thanks, I'll just eat a fucking cow. None of the above.
Chair Powell, floor is yours. Please come forward. Thank you, Peter, and good morning, everyone. Esther, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here today. At past Jackson Hole conferences, I have discussed broad topics, such as the ever-changing structure of the economy and the challenges of conducting monetary policy under high uncertainty. Today, my remarks will be shorter, my focus narrower, and my message more direct. The Federal Open Market Committee's overarching focus right now is to bring inflation back down to our 2% goal. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve and serves as the bedrock of our economy. Without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. In particular, without price stability, we will not achieve a sustained period of strong labor market conditions that benefit all. The burdens of high inflation fall heaviest on those who are least able to bear them. Restoring price stability will take some time and requires using our tools forcefully to bring demand and supply into better balance. Reducing inflation is likely to require a sustained period of below-trend growth. Moreover, there will very likely be some softening of labor market conditions. While higher interest rates, slower growth, and softer labor market conditions will bring down inflation, they will also bring some
Market is dropping.
and businesses.
Market is dropping
These are the
hard.
unfortunate costs of reducing
Watch your
inflation,
holdings.
but a failure to
Liquidate
restore
anything
price
that's going
stability
against
may
you.
have far greater pain. The U.S. economy is clearly slowing from the historically high growth rates of 2021, which reflected the reopening of the economy following the pandemic recession. While the latest economic data have been mixed, in my view, our economy continues to show strong underlying momentum. The labor market is particularly strong, but it is clearly out of balance, with demand for workers substantially exceeding the supply of available workers. Inflation is running well above 2%, and high inflation has continued to spread through the economy. While the lower inflation readings for July are certainly welcome, a single month's improvement falls far short of what the committee will need to see before we are confident that inflation is moving down. So, we are moving our policy stance purposefully to a level that will be sufficiently restrictive to return inflation to 2%. At our most recent meeting in July, the FOMC raised the target range for the federal funds rate to 2.25% to 2.5%, which is in the Summary of Economic Projections range of estimates of where the federal funds rate is projected to settle in the longer run. In current circumstances, with inflation running far above 2% and the labor market extremely tight, estimates of longer run neutral are not a place to pause or stop. July's increase in the target range was the second 75 basis point increase in as many meetings, and I said then that another unusually large increase could be appropriate at our next meeting. We are now about halfway through the intermeeting period. Our decision at the September meeting will depend on the totality of the incoming data and the evolving outlook.
Market still
At some
dropping.
point, as the stance of monetary policy tightens further, it likely will become appropriate to slow the pace of increases. Restoring price stability will likely require maintaining a restrictive policy stance for some time. the historical record cautions strongly against prematurely loosening policy. Committee participants' most recent individual projections from the June SEP showed the median federal funds rate running slightly below 4% through the end of 2023. Participants will update their projections at the September meeting. Our monetary policy deliberations and decisions build on what we've learned about inflation dynamics, both from the high and volatile inflation of the 1970s and 1980s, and from the low and stable inflation of the last quarter century. In particular, we're drawing on three lessons that I'll highlight. The first lesson is that central banks can and should take responsibility for delivering low and stable inflation. It may seem strange now that central bankers and others once needed convincing on these two fronts, but as former Chairman Ben Bernanke has shown, both propositions were widely questioned during the Great Inflation period. Today, we regard these questions as settled. Our responsibility to deliver price stability is unconditional. It is true that the current high inflation is a global phenomenon, and that many economies around the world face inflation as high or higher than seen here in the United States. It's also true, in my view, that the current high inflation in the United States
Fucking
supply, and that the Fed's tools work principally on aggregate demand. None of this diminishes the Federal Reserve's responsibility to carry out our
Why can't he
assigned
speak
task
louder?
of price stability. There is clearly a job to do in moderating demand to better align with supply. We are committed to doing that job. The second lesson is that the public
Oh my God.
can play an important
I need to
role
mute this.
in
There we
setting
go.
the path of inflation over
Mute
time.
the site. There we go.
Today, by many measures, longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored.
Wow.
That is broadly
DQ,
true of
doing
surveys
good.
of households, businesses, and forecasters, and of market-based measures as well. But that is not grounds for complacency, with inflation having run well above our goal for some time. If the public expects that inflation will remain low and stable over time, then, absent major shocks, it likely will. Unfortunately, the same is true of expectations of high and volatile inflation. During the 1970s, as inflation climbed, the anticipation of high inflation became entrenched in the economic decision-making of businesses and households. The more inflation rose, the more people came to expect it to remain high, and they built that belief into wage and price decisions. As former Chairman Paul Volcker put it at the height of the Great Inflation in 1979, inflation feeds in part on itself, so part of the job of returning to a more stable and more productive economy must be to break the grip of inflationary expectations. One useful insight into how actual inflation may affect expectations about its future path is based in the concept of rational inattention. When inflation is persistently high, households and businesses must pay close attention and incorporate inflation into their economic decisions. When inflation is low and stable, they are freer to focus their attention elsewhere. Former Chairman Alan Greenspan put it this way: for all practical purposes, price stability means that expected changes in the average price level are small enough and gradual enough that they do not materially enter business and household financials. Of course, inflation has just about everyone's attention right now, which highlights a particular risk today. The longer the current bout of high inflation continues, the greater the chance that expectations of higher inflation will become entrenched.
Wow. Jay-Z opened at 130 and just hit 160 and is halted. Jay-Z, the IPO.
Are likely to increase with delay as high inflation becomes more entrenched in wage and price setting.
Second halt.
The successful Volcker disinflation of the early 1980s followed multiple failed attempts to lower inflation over the years.
Somebody says, if you didn't buy the IPO, don't get in now.
A lengthy period of very restrictive monetary policy was ultimately needed to stem high inflation and to start the process of getting inflation down to the low and stable levels that were the norm until the spring of last year. Our aim is to avoid that outcome by acting with resolve now. So, these lessons are guiding us as we use our tools to bring inflation down. We are taking forceful and rapid steps to moderate demand so that it comes into better alignment with supply and to keep inflation expectations anchored. We will keep at it until we're confident the job is done.
That's it? Not much change. Yeah, John Durrell says the market's going to rip now. I kind of feel the same.
Our first session of the day is
Because that was not an earthquake. No questions, please, he said. That's good. And that is that. And the market's completely coming back up. It is ripping. The market's coming all the way back up. I just tried to get out of my put on the fucking thing, won't even fill. Jeez, that's really ripping. Wow. Look at it go. You did? Good job. You just happen to be looking at that, eh? The market is ripping now. We basically got nothing to worry about. Everything's priced in, essentially, is what just went down. So now we're free to continue our journey. Yeah. Did the WEF approve that message? All right, everything's sitting pretty there. Yeah, my snow position definitely popping off. Watch for the JZ IPO to come out of the halt soon at some point here. It opened at 100 and what was that? 125, 125, and then halted for the first time at 140 roughly. Came out of the halt at 145, popped all the way up to 160 and halted. So maybe it's going to come out of the halt at 170 on this next one and get up to 190 and halt. We'll see. You bought a call right at the bottom? Oh, nice. Good job. And right back to where we were, says Ben. Yep. Well, that always happens. It's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? So, and you never know when that's going to be. Don't worry about that. PanW. Like, don't let it bother you. Snow just hit 202. Very nice. Good. Looks like I made all the right decisions in there. A little sloppy, mechanical issues, but that's always the case. You can never, make your machines work better than they work. You just can't. That's just part of the whole game. GGII. Yeah, it did get over a penny. Now a penny, 160 million shares traded, so it's traded $1.6 million. It's a bit of flow, and it could be good for GGII, but it's not a ton of money flow. It's like for little kids trading. Well, I don't think Jay-Z is going to pop out of the hall anytime soon, and that's the J-Pow speech. And so if I don't see you, have a great weekend, everybody. It was good trading with you all week. The rest of you, if you're a member, I'll see you in the group. And let's keep on all these opportunities, IPOs, the momentum opportunities, and any swing trades, and be watching all the alerts, see what's going on, because now that the cat's out of the bag, the market's free to continue its journey. Thank you. You too, Sarah and Liz. Thank you. See you Monday. Have a good weekend. Recharge and study. Don't forget to go to e3tradinggroup.com. Okay, everybody. See you in the group. See you in the cord. That's it. The show's over. I'm cutting the cord.